Hey folks, Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hanson here, and we wanted to prepare a message to our partners in the Omaha Bar Association about a topic that sheriff's offices across the nation have a statutory obligation to perform, and that is civil process service. And with us today is Sergeant Peter Coffey. He is the supervisor over the Court Operations Group Civil Process Team. And we want to share with you some of the successes that we've had here recently, some innovations in civil process, and then some of the challenges that we still face that we'd like our partners in the legal community to help us make more efficient. First of all, Sergeant Coffey, thanks for all your hard work over the last year to improve the effort of civil process. Let's talk about some of the positives. Talk about the efficiencies that have been realized over the last year in civil process.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Sheriff. So our unit, it's been faced with a fairly large uptick in papers being issued to us. We just crossed 30,000 last month, which is a lot more, exponentially more than we've seen in the past, and that's just gone up and up and up the past few years. So we've had to adjust.
28% increase just
from last year,
yeah,
this year,
just
yes,
this year
sir.
alone.
It's a lot to handle, but we've tried to make efficiencies. So one of the main things we've done is we've gone to a new attempt and research rule. So in the past, what we've done is 3 attempts on each paper, and there was a no research rule. They were just making their 3 attempts and then returning them to the court. What we've done is we've given our process servers the tools, research tools that we have with the sheriff's office, and so they'll go make 1 attempt, and then prior to returning it to the court, they will conduct research on the defendant and try and gather as much verifying information as possible. The idea that we had was to provide the attorneys and the court with information to facilitate them going towards the court and getting constructive or alternate service so that we may have better luck the next time that paper is issued.
And we did that as a direct result of meeting with people in the legal community. Rex Moats has been a good partner to the Sheriff's Office with Moats Law, gave us some good feedback, some positive feedback about how we could improve civil process. We've implemented a lot of his ideas into this practice to make it more effective and more efficient. There's also some other good news, I think, for the legal community when it comes to how they can pay the Sheriff's Office or the county for this process. I know this will probably be very popular with a lot of lawyers in Douglas County. What's that, Sergeant Coffey?
So in doing some research, trying to determine why we weren't accepting checks as a form of payment for statements and deposits from law firms and attorneys in particular, and in my research, there is no particular reason. It was initiative by past administrations that doesn't have any bearing in our policy or in law, so we will be accepting checks as a form of payment for both deposits and to pay off statements.
And we know there's some law firms that just prefer to pay with checks, and so we want to make that easy for the legal community that we serve. Before we move on to the challenges, real quick, if anybody has the need to contact the leadership team at the Civil Process Team, the number, we'll put it up on the screen here, 402-599-2646. That'll take you directly to the Civil Process Office. You can also email your questions to DCSO-CPD, as in Civil Process Division, at douglascounty-ne.gov. Peter Coffey, let's pivot now to the challenges. What can our partners in the legal community do to make your jobs easier so that you can perform your statutory functions for the legal community that we serve?
So the biggest thing, and it goes back to why we made those changes, the 1 attempt with some research, is gathering quality information. Ideally, when our office has issued the papers, we'd like to get those defendants served the first go around without having to send them back to the court and get constructive service. Because that was what we were running into, is papers getting issued, getting returned. It was just never-ending recycling of the same names. We'd see them over and over and again. So what we've done has helped, but on the front end, if attorneys and law firms could include as much information as possible, good up-to-date information on defendants that could help my process servers get out there and get them served the first time, that would go a long way in increasing our efficiency. So stuff like would include basic biographical information, if you can include dates of birth, last four of social security numbers, even simple things like a middle initial if the party's a junior, senior, the third. These are roadblocks that we've run into time and time again. You wouldn't think that you would, but we have, and it's difficult to determine who we're looking for without that information. Phone number too would be great. I know sometimes you don't have access to the information, but if there's a way to include that either on the precipice or the summons itself, that would go a long way to help us.
And I think this is going to be vitally important moving forward because, typically there's two main ways historically that process is served. It's either going to be by the sheriff's office in that county or in Douglas County by constables. And there's less and less constables, and actually now the few constables that remain, they're starting to turn away work requested from law firms. So it's going to put more responsibility onto the sheriff's office to serve these papers, and that's where we need the legal community's help now more than ever to make sure that we get as much good, viable information on the front end as we can.
That's absolutely right. Just in this year alone, we've gotten calls from law firms. Some of you probably know, but they've told us that the constables have turned away their business, and we're the only other operation in town that does this work. So that's increasing our caseload in the hundreds, if not thousands, per year.
Well, we appreciate your time, and again, if you have any information or questions or any ideas on how you think we can make the process of civil process more effective and efficient in Douglas County, you can get a hold of us at the Civil Process Team, 402-599-2646, or via that email address, which we'll put up on the screen. We appreciate your partnership, and we value you as our legal community. We look forward to serving you even better in the years to come. Be safe.